We tend to think that this is what trauma does to us too. It breaks us, and then we are forever broken with no hope of repair. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to release trauma stored in the body. Hey beautiful humans, I'm Sukie Baxter, founder of Whole Body Revolution, where I help you to rewire yourself for greater health, happiness, and success. If you're new here, make sure you click that subscribe button so you never miss a video update, and all of the links to everything I mentioned in this video, you can find linked in the description box below. Let's get into it. Trauma is a big deal. It impacts every area of your life, from relationships to health, happiness, and even your career. But I don't actually like the word trauma. We tend to associate trauma with big things that happen to us. Even if you don't think of yourself as someone who's been traumatized, you probably do have some level of trauma held in your body. Pretty much everyone does. Not only is modern life inherently traumatizing because of the fast pace that doesn't allow you the necessary time and space to discharge stress, but trauma is also passed down through generations epigenetically. Even if you yourself didn't experience trauma, if someone in your ancestral lineage did, you carry the impact of trauma in your genes. So let's talk about how to release trauma stored in the body. The first thing you have to know about healing trauma is that your body is not a thing. It's not a machine or an inanimate object. For contrast, consider this glass. It's currently in a whole state and there's nothing broken or chipped, but also nothing is happening with it. This glass is not interacting with its environment in any way. If I put it here on the table, it's just gonna sit there, gathering dust, but not changing. It won't warp or shift, and granted, yes, the material that makes up the glass is breaking down and it's decomposing, but very, very, very slowly. Glass takes about 1 million years to decompose. I looked it up. Your body interacts with your environment constantly. Sensory nerve cells gather all kinds of information about your body's position, temperature, the pressure against your skin from clothing, furniture, chairs, etc. And you have a whole system of nerves called mirror neurons that read other people's bodies through subtle cues in facial expression and body language that help you to decipher their emotions and their intentions. Your body is a biointelligent organism that processes 40 million bits of data per second, but your prefrontal cortex, or cognitive brain, is only able to process about 40 bits of information per second. Your body truly is your unconscious mind. Back to this glass. Let's say the glass experiences some trauma. Now the glass is broken and it's going to be hard to repair it. We tend to think that this is what trauma does to us too. It breaks us, and then we are forever broken with no hope of repair. We just have to live with all the cracks and fissures in our hearts and our souls. But that's not so. Unlike this glass here, you're plastic. Your body is plastic. This is a concept called neuroplasticity. When you shift from thinking of yourself and your body like a thing, like a sort of primitive machine, and start seeing it as a complex information system, you start to understand the basis for healing trauma. Trauma doesn't break you like the glass. Trauma, or stress of any kind, causes a shift in your nervous system. This is normal and natural and completely necessary to help you manage threats to your survival and stay alive. Problems arise, however, when stress is not properly discharged from your nervous system and it stays in your body for days, weeks, months, years, or possibly lifetimes. In a healthy, well-regulated nervous system, a stressful event creates a charge of activation that motivates you to deal with the threat. In the extreme, that can mean running from danger or fighting off an attack. But it can also be as simple as a hunger pain sparking a trip to the refrigerator and make yourself a sandwich. Once the hunger is satisfied, your nervous system returns to a relaxed and present state. When your nervous system is overwhelmed by too much stress or a stressful event is never fully discharged, the effect is what we call trauma. Trauma isn't what happened to you. It's the dysregulated state that's a result of what happened to you. It's a subtle difference, but it's a big one. Stress and trauma form the emotional roots of pain and tension in your body, but that's not all. Unresolved trauma and emotional scars in your body shift your brain into a survival state, which affects how you perceive the entire world. Not only does your health suffer from tight muscles, aching joints, and fatigue, but your mood and mental outlook will take a hit as well. Living with trauma stored in your body changes how you perceive everything. Chronic stress causes your brain to interpret the world around you as threatening and dangerous. When you're in a chronic stress state or holding on to trauma stored in the body, it's impossible to feel love and connection to other people. Creativity is diminished and you lose access to joy and playfulness. Over time, unresolved trauma slowly robs you of life. Sure, you can be surviving just fine, paying the bills, and getting through every day. On paper, life looks pretty good, but it's like nothing quite touches you. You're just going through the motions, making sure stuff gets done, but not ever really being fully present in your life. Trauma mutes your experience of life. In fact, modern definitions of trauma parallel what ancient healing traditions often referred to as soul loss. And many of the body-based trauma healing modalities emerging from modern neuroscience and studies in neurobiology today mirror shamanic healing traditions for recovering a person's splintered soul. In short, trauma zombifies you. You're alive, but not quite fully living. So what do we do about it? Most trauma healing methods focus on intellectualizing your past or going over memories to try to make sense of them. Even somatic therapies often intellectualize the body's response to trauma, as though your thinking mind can somehow overcome and take back your life. But trauma stored in the body has to be addressed at the body level, which means we need to speak your body's language, and that is sensation. Trauma causes your nervous system to communicate a lack of safety to your brain. This can happen as a result of physical trauma, like an accident or injury, emotional trauma such as abuse, grief, loss, or not having your needs met as a child, or what I call slow trauma, the kind of trauma that results from not one moment in time, but ongoing, never-ending chronic stress. Our modern work culture is inherently traumatizing, for example. A lot of people have PTSD from their jobs. Burnout, in fact, is actually a trauma state. Under fMRI, the brains of people suffering from burnout mirror those of people with childhood trauma. So what we need to do in order to discharge this trauma is restore a felt sense of safety to your body. This cannot come from your brain. You can't simply tell your body that you're safe. You have to get out of your mind and literally come into your senses. Sensory information that's transmitted through touch, sight, and sound primarily, is how your body reads its environment. So this isn't a case of mind over matter, quite the opposite. It's actually matter talking to your mind. Body states influence consciousness. So as you tap into what you're feeling in your body, your mind becomes more present, centered, and relaxed. This allows your nervous system to discharge trauma, bringing you out of a survival mode. This is a revolutionary approach in a culture that keeps physical and mental health practices separate. The fact is, you can't separate physical and mental health. Your body is your mind. Your mind is your body. They're not separate entities. Your cerebellum, the part of your brain responsible for balance and coordination, fires concurrently with the brain region related to your executive function skills like reasoning and decision making. Your brain's learning is experience dependent. It seeks to find behaviors that keep you safe and then repeats them until they're automatic. That means they're embodied. You do them without thinking, just like you walk across a room or drive a car without much conscious attention. But as we start to connect with sensation and use movement to interrupt these habitual patterns, we can then start to break apart old patterns of trauma and heal emotional scars so that we can live from the present moment instead of constantly repeating behaviors from our past. This helps you break a little freer in your life day by day, even if it's just inside your own heart. Honestly, resolving trauma in your body is a deep subject, and I've barely scratched the surface here. This is the work that I do with my private clients and inside of my programs as well, because it's become apparent that healing stress and trauma in the body is key to overcoming not only physical pain, but also freeing you up to be who you really are. For a more in-depth overview of how to release trauma from your body, definitely check out my Pain-Free at Any Age video series, where I talk more about the stress response and give you some key tools to start the process of discharging trauma stored in your body for yourself. It's totally free, and like I said, it goes into a lot more detail than I'm really able to do here in this short video. Go ahead and click the link on your screen or in the description box below to head on over and get access to that. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. You are a rock star, and I so appreciate you. If you found this video helpful, I'd love it if you'd give it a like, and remember to subscribe so you never miss a video update. I'll see you in the next one.